Welcome to Facts TV News, where everything is true.
JCF investigating physical altercation between cop and JDF member. The Jamaica Constabulary Force JCF says it has launched an investigation into a physical altercation between a member of the Jamaica Defence Force and a cop. The incident, which has gone viral on social media reportedly, took place at a checkpoint in Denham Town, Kingston. In the video, the soldier can be seen shoving the cop several times. It is unclear who or what started the dispute. According to the JCF, Assistant Commissioner of Police in charge of Area 4 Donovan Graham will meet with his senior JDF counterparts later on Monday to discuss the incident and bring the matter to a resolution. The incident does not reflect the current excellent working relationship and collaboration that exists between the JDF and the JCF. The communication arms of the constabulary said in a release. Joint operations between the two forces, particularly in the zones of special operations, the Joint Anti-Gang Task Force, and every other policing division, take place continually. These joint operations are critical to our crime-fighting efforts and to ensure the safety and security of the Jamaican people, it added. The JCF highlighted that the organization remains committed to working together with the JDF to maintain law and order and to serve communities. The constabulary said the necessary steps will be taken to ensure a speedy resolution. Trial for a co-accused instacchiano murder case fails to get off the ground. The trial of security guard Rowan Earlby Rose, who is charged in connection with the murder of social media influencer Anika Stacchiano 1000, failed to get off the ground on Monday. When the matter was called up in the St. James Circuit Court, the Crown told the court that the matter could not be dealt with. A mentioned date was later set by Justice Andrea Thomas for April 26. The 47-year-old security guard is charged with misprision of a felony. This means he is accused of knowing about the matter but failed to notify the authorities. Rose is currently on bail. His co-accused, Russian Patterson, was charged by the police with murder. Patterson, who remains in custody, is booked to reappear in court on Thursday, March 9. On October 21, Thousand's scantily clad body was retrieved from the sea in Reading, between St. James and Hanover. Patterson is accused of strangling her to death. According to the police, Thousand had traveled from Kingston to Montego Bay, where she was picked up by Patterson at approximately 7:30 p.m. on October 20. During the evening, they visited a restaurant in Hanover and a guest house in St. James. At some point during the night, an argument reportedly developed between them, which resulted in Patterson reportedly strangling Thousand and disposing of her body. NPTAG urges swift wage negotiations between the government and JTA. The National Parent Teaching Association of Jamaica, NPTAG, has expressed concern regarding the current wage negotiation between the government and the Jamaica Teachers Association, JTA, and is urging an amicable solution as soon as possible. On Friday, March 3rd, placard-bearing teachers at the St. Elizabeth Technical High School staged sit-in and accused the JTA of lobbying poorly on their behalf in wage negotiation with the government. On Monday, two additional schools in St. Elizabeth, BB Cook and Magati High, teachers were blocked to stage sit-ins, also pointing finger at the JTA. The NPTAG said that it is necessary for both parties to reach an amicable and urgent solution to avoid placing students at further risk given the already huge learning loss and the amount on COVID-19. The NPTAG acknowledges the need of our teachers to be adequately compensated in these financial difficult times for most Jamaicans. We acknowledge the great value of our teachers as they influence on the nation and its future growth through education of our children, the NPTAG said in a release on Monday. What quality teacher system do we as parents, as a nation, want for our children? And how do we retain and attract quality teachers to achieve that objective? We must protect our children's future, and that is through quality education, it added. Minister of Finance and the Public Service Dr. Nigel Clark recently announced that $4.3 billion has been tacked onto the budget for this fiscal year, which ends on March 31, an indication of the government's aim to settle wage disputes. But the police, doctors, and teachers are some of the major groups who have refused to sign off on the new compensation package until there is an improved offer from the government. Only 44 pounds of cannabis imported from Canada, says Hill. The government has shed some light on the importation of cannabis from Canada. This following concerns by various segments of the society about the move, given that the country is still working to build out its own cannabis industry. Speaking at a press conference in Kingston, Minister of Industry, Investment and Commerce Arbin Hill said the license granted for cannabis to be imported was for 44 pounds. He added that this was of a strain which is not grown in Jamaica. Mr. Hill said the imported license was granted Canavivo Jamaica Limited. The minister also dismissed claims that his son is involved in the cannabis industry. Mr. Hill said he plans to discuss matters related to cannabis during a trade mission which is being planned to Canada for May.
The importer in question, if you get a government license, and I'm going to tell you who the person is that might own it, but you can go to the company's office and tell you, so I'm going to tell you the name. Because if we give a company a license, the government thing, it can be private. So the name is Canavivo Jamaica Limited. And listen carefully, the only import authorization that has been utilized is for a strain that is not in Jamaica. It's called Tranquil Elephantizer. We don't have that here. And they brought in, listen carefully, 44 pounds of this particular strain that they use in 5 of their branches. So each branch would come out at less than 9 pounds. So the whole 100 of pounds that you hear in the press is 44 pounds they brought in. Now they had other license that they requested. One expired and one was never approved. So that's what we're talking about. No, my son is not involved in any cannabis, anything. I see it in social media. I double check it in cabinet. No cabinet minister has any son or daughter in any cannabis, anything. So for this one, you can leave us alone. I know you tackle us on lots of things, but you can just leave us alone. No. It's not so. Me check. Just coming out of cabinet and they're going back there afterwards. So we have it said that the minister does not get involved in that at all. So you can't, so I see some of them out in social media say who take bribe and how much me get and foolishness. We're going to Trinidad next week, taking another trade mission, 36. It's not next week, it's Wednesday. And before the end of the month, we're going to go to Domrep. And then I had planned to go to Cities in the States. I'm changing that. I've asked Shalette from Jampro to change it so that bring the Canadian trip forward. It was going to be like in the summer, so I'm bringing it forward. If we're all things being equal, we want to be there in May. We're taking a trade mission. Anywhere I go is a trade mission, but I also get to do official meetings. And of course, the cannabis issue is going to be on my agenda when I go to Canada. Trade arrangements take long to be done, so don't expect me to come back and announce that we have a trade deal. That's not how a trade deal works.
Meantime, People's National Party President Mark Godin says it's wrong for the country to import cannabis and called on the government to make the necessary changes to end this. According to him, it was never envisioned that ganja would be imported. Mr. Godin says the local industry needs a proper environment to flourish. The PNP President, who was addressing supporters at the demonstration in Crossroads St. Andrew yesterday, highlighted other issues affecting the country, including cost of living.
And the thing that burned me most of all is when I see this Minister Arbin Hill buck shuffling when the Cannabis Licensing Authority has issued a license to import commercial quantities of ganja from Canada into Jamaica, the land of the best ganja in the world. We never envisaged that our government would be permitting importation of ganja from Canada for commercial sale when Jamaican producers cannot sell to Canada in commercial quantities. It is wrong, and the government should own it and change it, because the local industry is just up and coming and it needs proper government and proper regulation so that it can grow and faster and flourish. The cost of living after 2 years of inflation has gone beyond the means of ordinary Jamaican people. We told the government to cushion the crisis. We told them to put in a livable wage, not a minimum wage. We suggested years ago that $12,000 should be that. Of course, that is no longer the relevant figure because inflation eat out that too. But if we had benchmarked a livable wage, which is adjusted annually for inflation, the people of Jamaica would be better off. We have said to the government, Eliminate this device of contract work that prevents our workers from having their rights, hard-fought rights and benefits. It took the court to rule for the security guards. That has required the government to implement a proper system within the public sector for the security guards. But it can't be just for the security guards alone. Contract work is used as and abused all across the economy. And we have said bring legislation to eliminate contract work.
Please remember to subscribe, like, share,